Happy Halloween, y'all. So, on a scale from Onision to Susie Sue, how well do I pull off the goth look? I'd say I'm somewhere in between modern day Robert Smith and 2012 Marilyn Manson. So, it's Halloween. Shit's getting spooky. My lights are dimmed. The light is coming from a downward angle. There's a skull on my wall. And so I figured, why not talk about something that's just synonymous with the holiday? So a few years ago, Adam from Your Movie Sucks did a series on his channel where he talked about the shit that scared him as a child. So I was thinking, wow, that's something easy to rip off. So I'm figuring since it's the month of spookiness, the month of Halloween, I figured why not talk about my own childhood traumas and like shit that scared me as a kid. Because there's kind of a lot there. I was a bit of a pussy. So I want to start with a couple honorable mentions. The Indiana Jones movies. These movies, like, spooked me as a kid, especially the shit from Raiders of the Lost Ark and Temple of Doom especially. But I never really considered that to be really traumatic or anything like that. I was just kind of at that age where I thought that shit was cool. Another honorable mention, shit from the band Tool. I was a teenager when I got into Tool, so I was kind of beyond a kid. But I got pretty fucking spooked by some of their shit, especially the song Prison Sex. Like, the video especially, that's the record for Tool's scariest fucking video. That and Stinkfist. Those videos are fucking, those still unnerve me to this day. And another shout out to the artwork for Korn's Follow the Leader. I don't know why, this just kind of fucked with me as a kid. Now on to the real spooks. So there's a lot of things that scared me as a kid that honestly shouldn't have scared me. Notably, the movie The Incredibles. You know, that's a fun, wholesome family movie. That's one of my favorite Pixar movies. But for some fucking reason, I was scared of this movie. I think it might have been the scene where Jack transforms. I think that is literally the only thing that scared me. But it scared me to the point where I didn't want to watch the fucking movie ever. So one day, my family goes out to the store, and we see The Incredibles on DVD. And so my mom and dad are all like, hey, that's a good movie, let's pick it up. But little pussy-ass Matthew was all like,
no, that movie's scary.
And so my dad just went,
okay, you little shit.
He went over to the horror movie section and picked up just a random scary movie. I don't think it was Texas Chainsaw Massacre, but this was just the first one I found. He said, all right, this is a scary movie, and this is a funny movie. Scary, funny. Which one would you rather watch? Now, and little ass Matthew was just like,
I guess we'll go with The Incredibles.
Good move on my dad, too. That was a good fucking movie. Now we're gonna stay in this small little Matthew territory and go to the year 2005 when Star Wars Episode 3, Revenge of the Sith came out. So my family all thought it would be a good idea to go see this movie as a family bonding experience. And I was like,
yeah, Star Wars!
Unknown to me that there was gonna be this shit in this movie.
Help me! I can't hold on any longer.
Now, when you're a pussy-ass kid that's scared of The Incredibles, of course this shit is gonna fucking terrify you. Like, I specifically remember, like, fucking covering my eyes in the theater being like, no, I don't like that! I didn't scream. Once again, when we got the DVD of that movie, I just wasn't scared of it anymore. I don't know what changed in me. Maybe I realized fucking Palpatine isn't gonna come haunt me in my dreams. Maybe something about the comparison of the big-ass theater screen versus, like, a family living room TV. After that, like, it just didn't scare me. So, whatever happened, it was a good thing, because that's my favorite fucking Star Wars movie. Fight me. Now, unlike Revenge of the Sith, there was another movie that scared the shit out of me, even when we got the DVD of it. And that movie was Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. Now, I fucking loved this movie. I still love this movie. Fight me. But the one scene that fucking terrified me was the scene of Violet blowing up and turning into a blueberry.
I've tried it on like 20 Oompa Loompas, and each one ended up as a blueberry. It's just weird.
I think that's kind of understandable. That shit's a little spooky for a kid. However, this scene scared me so much to the point where as soon as they got to the inventing room, I would just bolt out of the room and not come back until the song started. Because I loved the fucking song, but just the scene of Violet transforming into the blueberry scared me so fucking much that I just did not want to fuck with the inventing room at all. Maybe that's why I hate the inflation fetish so much. And moving on to the last movie that really fucked with me as a little kid, for now, we're gonna go into the realm of Hogwarts. We're gonna move into the magical world of Harry Potter. Ah, yes. The magical world of Harry Potter, back before we realized that J.K. Rowling is kind of a piece of shit. Specifically, I'm talking about Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets, which was already a pretty freaky movie. I remember being scared of Dobby, for sure. But that's not the part that really fucked with me as a kid. And tell you the truth, this part still fucks with me to this day. And it's very small, very insignificant, and very unnecessary. So we're at the part where Harry fucks up the flu powder and ends up in a store in Nocturne Alley, which is like the bad part of Diagon Alley. He's messing about this shop, and there's an old decaying hand, a creepy ass hand. So he starts to grab it, and this shit happens. They put a goddamn jump scare in this Harry Potter movie. Why did they put a jump scare there? That was completely unnecessary. You didn't have to make little Matthew
Piss himself, Chris Columbus.
Now let's move forward to the year 2008. YouTube is a thing now, and YouTube is popular now. And I remember kind of fucking about on the YouTubes on my grandparents' computer, and I decided to look up This Is Halloween from The Nightmare Before Christmas, because I guess your boy was still feeling spooky even back then. And I stumbled upon the Marilyn Manson cover from the Nightmare Revisited album. So I thought, whoa, this shit is cool. Like, I only knew Marilyn Manson from the Celebrity Deathmatch video game. Does anyone else remember that game? And so finding out that he was not only a real person, but a musician, I thought, hey, this shit's kind of cool. And I still think his cover of This Is Halloween kind of slaps, even though it was from his weakest period as an artist. Don't at me. But there was this one video I found on YouTube that I thought was cool. And that video was This Is Halloween set to scenes from the movie It and Pet Sematary. So I thought this video was really cool. So I decided to show my sister. That's right, this one isn't my childhood trauma, it's hers. I just really like this story. One of the first scenes in this video, it's the scene in the movie where Tim Curry is like sprayed with the inhaler, and then he like his hand's on his face and he's just like peeling like shit away from it, making this really fucking terrifying face. And that was one of the first scenes, and that fucking terrified my sister to the point where she stormed out of the room, and I thought,
Wow, is it really that scary?
when I asked her about this story a few years ago, she said this, and she sent this picture, which I don't think she's gotten over it yet. Now, speaking of scares involving YouTube and my sister, a few years down the line, she was an angsty teenager, and I was still a little shit of a kid. So I asked her one night if I could use her computer just to look up YouTube videos. You know, I just wanted to be a little kid. And she was like, sure, fuck it. And so I, was hyped as shit, went onto YouTube, and I wanted to listen to some Green Day. So the first thing I, put in that search bar is a G. So first thing I see is Green Day, and I'm like, hell yeah, I want to listen to that. But then I noticed a little bit down the search bar was the term Ghost Caught on Tape, and my curiosity was a little piqued there. So I'm like, that's a little spooky, that's a little cool semen.
Did I just say semen?
So I thought, that's pretty cool looking, that's pretty spooky looking, let me take a look at that. So I clicked on that, and now I'm not going to show this video because I like my audience, but anyone that knows this particular jump scare knows exactly what's going to happen when I put this screen up. And you can automatically tell how little Matthew responded to that. I thought I was gonna have a fucking heart attack because, the spooky screamer popped up. I leapt out of the chair, clutching my heart, and I was like, what the fuck? What the fuck? I never looked up shit about ghosts for years down the line. scared that fucking Regan from The Exorcist was gonna pop up again. Although this story does have a happy ending. I did get to listen to some Green Day that night. So a little later down the line, I was about 10 or 12, I was super into the video game Rock Band. Like, who doesn't fucking love Rock Band? Rock Band and Guitar Hero are like fucking A+ games right there. Not even for like the gimmick, they're just fun to play, you know? And that's all that matters with video games. If your game's not fun, what's the point of your video game? And one of my favorite tracks off the Rock Band soundtrack was Black Hole Sun by Soundgarden. I fucking love Soundgarden. Now one night, I was bored, and I wanted to listen to some rock and roll music. And so, I decided to look up Black Hole Sun by Soundgarden. You know, it's a kick-ass song, and I found there was a music video. And I'm like, shit, yeah! So I look up this music video, and this is what I fucking see. What the fuck, guys? Now, as an adult, I realize this music video is one of the fucking best videos ever. You have the creepy, trippy-ass, like, visuals, and on top of that, you have the band playing as emotionless as possible, which just adds this fucking great tone to this whole thing. It's a perfect video to complement an amazing song. But I wasn't looking at it from that perspective as a kid. I was looking at it from the perspective of, what the fuck is this? Now, before I get on to the last thing, I want to also give like a special honorable mention to the episode of SpongeBob simply titled Wormy. Now, this episode did not scare me, but it wouldn't feel right if I didn't bring it up in some way, shape, or form, because this episode scared the shit out of a lot of kids, specifically my roommate. Now, for those of you who haven't seen the episode, first off, what rock have you been living under, and are you neighbors with Patrick? Second, the basic gist is SpongeBob and Patrick are pet sitting for their friend Sandy. Now, Sandy has got a pet worm. At least they think it's a worm. So they spend the day playing with it. It's a cool fucking worm. But as night passes, turns out it's a caterpillar that cocoons and turns into a butterfly. Now, when they come back the next day, they see the butterfly flying around the tree dome, wondering what the hell is that? And then it lands on their helmet, and this shows up. 3, 2, 1. Yeah, that scared the shit out of a lot of kids. Now, a fun little fact about this episode is that the creature isn't actually a butterfly at all. That is a close-up of a horsefly. And I just want to say, I fucking hate horseflies. So fuck you, SpongeBob. Now, this video has not been in any particular order. Tell you the truth, I probably could not rank them because I wasn't sure exactly how terrified I was, so I couldn't really put it on a exact scale. This next thing, however, scared me so much that I actually repressed it and didn't know about it until over 10 years later. Now, one night, about a year ago, I was working a graveyard shift, and my coworkers were talking about horror movies, and I wanted to join in on the conversation. I love horror movies. Texas Chainsaw, one of my favorite movies of all time. Now one of them brings up the movie The Brothers Grimm, a movie that I thought I'd never seen. And I realized I have watched this movie before when someone mentioned the horse scene. Now, some of you may not know what I'm talking about. I'm willing to argue most of you don't know what I'm talking about. So, I want you to put yourself in the perspective of a 4-year-old child walking into the living room, not quite sure what's on the TV. You see a boy in a stable walking up to a horse. And I'm going to warn you now, this scene is still very disturbing to this day. So if you don't want to watch that, I recommend going to this time card and enjoy.
And such a pretty, pretty mouth.
Steady, we can mechanize the horse, put it on tracks.
What the actual fuck was that? Who in their right mind thought that that was a good thing to put in a movie? I don't care what this movie is rated. I think it's rated PG-13, but that is not an okay thing to put in your goddamn movie. You don't put a horse with spider webs coming out voring a child. That's not right, man. That's not fucking right, man. Tell you the truth, I think I said this. Now, I know I said this, but I've never, watched this full movie before. And tell you the fucking truth, I don't think I'm going to, because any movie that thinks that is a good thing to put in the movie is not a movie worth watching. Alright, so I'm a little bit more calmed down now. If you have any interesting stories about things that scared you as a child, please leave them in the comment section. I'd love to read them. If you enjoyed that video, give it a like, and hey, maybe hit that subscribe button, just if you wanna. I've been Funkyunkymatt. I'm gonna take a hot shower, and I just need to think about my life for a bit.
Happy Halloween!
So I thought that's a little cool. So that's a little spooky. That's a little cool looking. Let me shimmy on that.